Explosive testimony in the Bethenny Frankel divorce saga. The former reality star is embroiled in a bitter custody battle now with her husband, Jason Hoppy. The couple, who put their marriage and relationship on TV screens for millions to see, now face the same attention on the stand. Frankel broke down in court last week detailing their nasty separation and alleged Hoppy said he'd destroy her and have her and her publicist crying, crumbling in a corner. It's just one of the many allegations by this entrepreneur. Now, for more on what's at stake here, we're joined by divorce attorney Lisa Giovinazzo. Lisa, good to see you. You know,
thanks for having me.
It's tough because there's a child involved here. Frankel seeking full custody of their 4-year-old daughter, Bryn. How effective is testimony like this when you're talking about a dad possibly losing parenting rights? And it's really about mean comments, calling her garbage, just to name a few things. Is it possible to lose parenting rights over things like that?
You know, it's very difficult to lose joint custody, which would be parenting rights in New York. I mean, there is an interest to keep both parents involved, and you would have to see a lot more than this to actually pierce a joint custody issue. But kind of what you're seeing is really the question of physical custody. Who will be the primary residential custodial parent? And what comes along with that is also child support. So is that an issue here? Will the person that takes physical custody get this tremendous amount of child support, which is 17% of gross income?
Well, because let's be honest, there's a lot of money at stake. She's got a fortune. She sold her Skinny Girl empire for about $100 million. And you have to wonder, is that why this is going to trial and you're hearing these nasty things rather than this being settled out of court? So many divorces are able to be settled out of court.
A lot of them, and ultimately I think what you might see here is a settlement. A custody battle is a very difficult battle. There's law guardians involved, probably forensic psychologists involved, so they will get to the bottom of the issue. But make no mistake, it's supposed to be a private proceeding. But what we're seeing here is a lot of inflammatory comments. Somebody's leaking a lot of information to the press, and the court will take that into account. I mean, the standard here is the best interest of the child, and they will look at who's the primary caregiver right now and what's best for this little girl. So hearing all of these things leak out, because again, divorce proceedings, custodial proceedings are private matters. You can't go in and pull these records. So who's giving this information out there? And really, if you hear about all the comments, what does that have to really do with this little girl, Bryn? It really has nothing to do with the little girl.
And let's talk about that little girl, because Hoppy's lawyer claims that Frankel is just pursuing career success. She's used this child as a prop. What effect does that have on children in these kinds of cases?
You know, it's going to have a great impact on this case, specifically because this woman is always out there. So is her husband, Jason, the primary caregiver? Does he take the daughter to school every day? Is he with her every afternoon? Because the court never wants to give primary custody to somebody that won't be primarily in the presence of the child. They don't want to give it to somebody who's going to hire a third party to take care of the child. So you kind of have to wonder what's going on here. I mean, the split was pretty visceral, and she did clear out the daughter's room. The daughter was left behind in a room with nothing. I mean, you don't know what happens in these cases because they're so emotional, but it really doesn't seem, again, like it's about the child. And when you go into a courtroom, you know, the scales of justice are supposed to be blind. But I always say in my practice, you know, it is a character trial. You do want the court to perceive you as a parent who really is doing this for the benefit of the child. And she really is turning into a commodity here. She seems to be stuck in the middle of a tug of war. Yeah. And I don't think any parent likes to see that, or especially a judge.
No doubt about that. Always difficult when a child is involved. Lisa, thanks so much for being with us today. You take care.
Thanks for having us.